Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
Best 3 gaming CPUs.
Starting at number 5.
AMD Ryzen 9. The AMD Ryzen 9 7950X was the vanguard for a whole new generation of CPUs and GPUs from the Red Team. But, despite its many advances, a whole new AM5 motherboard platform, and shiny heat spreader design, this wasn't the best gaming CPU we were hoping for. Don't misunderstand us, it's a good CPU and it certainly smashes the previous Gen 16-core Ryzen 9 5950X. But this Zen 4 chip has a resurgent Intel CPU architecture to deal with in Alder Lake and Raptor Lake. With the Core i9-13900K offering so many cores itself now, it's very much encroaching on AMD's hallowed high core count space. The Ryzen 9 7950X is an evolution of the Zen 3 design, and is at once a brood of a processor, running at the ragged edge of its thermal constraints, and yet with an impressively elegant design. However, there's no spectacular new tech on display, no vertically bonded cache chips, no extra cores, just a healthy clock speed bump, some finessed microarchitecture, and a new socket. It is certainly fast. We did a bit of a double take at the numbers when the Cinebench R23 single-thread test tipped the odd core up to 5.9 GHz. It's not quite that high under all-core load, but 5.4 GHz across all 16 cores still makes it one blazing chip.
Coming at number 4.
Intel Core i9. Intel's Core i9-13900K is spectacularly good at what it does, and what it does is pretty much everything, which makes it the best high-end Intel CPU overall. Gaming? Of course, it can push high frame rates alongside the latest GPUs. Multitasking? Yep, easy. With 24 cores, it's perfectly suited to lots of stuff happening all at once. High-demand creative workloads? Absolutely, it barely breaks a sweat. Intel's hybrid architecture has really come into its own with the Core i9-13900K, though hasn't really pushed anything forward with its Core i9-14900K refresh. And that's why we're still sticking with this cheaper chip that performs just as well. Throw it at any problem, and it's likely going to solve it in record time. The Core i9-13900K actually makes XHEDT chips look slow by comparison. In fact, Intel's Core i9-13900K is almost 10,000 points clear of the Core i9-12900K in Cinebench R23. In the Blender Junk Shop benchmark, the Core i9-13900K is 60% faster than the Alder Lake chip. If you want lots of speedy threads to throw at creative apps, this is it. When it comes to gaming performance, the Core i9-13900K is equally impressive. This chip does little to hold back a modern high-end GPU, such as the RTX 3080 we're testing with, and I have no doubts it'll make the best pairing with NVIDIA's new RTX 4090, too. Minimum and 1% per 0.1% lows were also impressively high and consistently so, which is a good marker of CPU performance nowadays.
At number 3.
Intel Core i5. The Intel Core i5-13600K is another mighty mid-range chip from Intel, and you can expect a major uplift in core counts even with this more parsimoniously priced Raptor Lake chip. Well tuned to deliver high gaming frame rates, this is ultimately the chip most gamers should consider first for their next gaming PC. It's cheaper than the newer Core i5-14600K, but has the same essential core makeup and actually performs identically. The Core i5-13600K is a 14-core processor, made up of 6 hyper-threaded performance cores, P cores, and 8 efficient cores, E cores, for a total of 20 threads. That's 4 more E-cores than this chip's predecessor, the Core i5-12600K, but don't be fooled by the E-cores' diminutive name and silicon footprint. Those 4 extra cores make for a significant increase in multi-threaded performance. The Core i5-13600K's single-threaded Cinebench score? Exactly the same as a Core i9-12900K. Of course, in terms of real-life performance, You won't see the Core i5-13600K matching the Core i9-12900K in every regard, but it really does deliver something similar in gaming for a lot less money.
Number 2 of my list.
Intel Core i5. For a gaming PC, there's no better value CPU than a Core i5. For most of 2022, we recommended the Core i5-12600K as the best gaming CPU and the Core i5-12400 as the best gaming CPU on a budget. Last year, the Core i5-13600K took over the top spot. And now, the Core i5-13400F pushes Alder Lake out of the running with an even more impressive specification for the money, making it the best budget gaming CPU you can currently buy. The Intel Core i5-13400F is a 10-core hybrid design processor made up of 6 performance cores, P cores, and 4 efficient cores, E cores. The Core i5-13400F has a total of 16 threads. Its fastest cores will run up to 4.6 GHz out of the box, a clock speed that wouldn't have seemed out of place on the box of a Core i7 only a few years back. For that impressive spec, the Core i5 has been given an Intel recommended price tag of $196/AU $329. Consider the other options. That's a handful of dollars more than the Core i5-12400 from years previous, $33 cheaper than AMD's Ryzen 5 7600 and over $90 less than the Ryzen 5 7600X.
And number 1.
AMD Ryzen. The AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D is simply the best gaming CPU around right now. It's certainly the best gaming chip that AMD has ever made, but it's also capably outperforming Intel's top CPU when it comes to gaming frame rates and is doing so for a lot less cash. It's also a lot less power-thirsty, too. That's possibly one of the most intriguing things about the 3D V-Cache processors of the Zen 4 generation, just how much more efficient they are than the first top-end chips of the Ryzen 7000 series. In fact, with every subsequent release of this new generation, AMD has improved its latest processor range, making the previous ones almost redundant. The Ryzen 9 7950X 3D was the first of the new 3D V-Cache chips to hit our test bench, and it offers a mix of high-end gaming performance and a full 16 cores of Zen 4 processing. But its hybrid design, which offered one 8-core chiplet, or CCD, with the extra 64 MB of L3 cache fused on top of it and another CCD without, demanded some extra hoops for the operating system to jump through and also sacrificed some of a standard 16-core chip's raw multi-threaded performance.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.